Yo, what's up, everybody? How you doing? It's your Coach Renz. Gonna get started in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. It's gonna be a very short live. Very short live. I'm not gonna be here on that long compared to my normal. I'm gonna be on here for maybe 30 minutes, and that will be it. Maybe not even that long. Um, but I'm gonna give people a few minutes to get on here before I get started. Do one share. Good afternoon. Good morning. Good morning. It's Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day. So to all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Um, Ahmaud, Aubery. His mother is not having such a great Mother's Day today, right? Perfection. Grand Rising. His mother's not having a great Mother's Day. There are many mothers out there who are not having great Mother's Day because of injustices that has been done. So today, because I'm going to go ahead and get started, because it's only going to be about 15, 20 minutes on this video, on this live. I do want to say thank you to everybody who supports my channels on YouTube, Facebook, that sort of thing. Appreciate it. In all the ways that you support. But that's not what we're talking about today. But I always love to give my gratitudes. So we have people who were out and we are running for Ahmaud. That's great. It's great. I'm glad that there are people out there who are running for Ahmaud. That's good. If you are living under a rock, then you may not have heard of this entire story. That yet again, another unarmed black man was gunned down. But in this case, he wasn't gunned down by the actual police. He was gunned down by another case, similar, not even somewhat similar to Trayvon Martin, but he was gunned down in a situation where we have citizens, former police officer, former investigators, district attorney investigators, decided they are going to gun down this young black man who was running in the neighborhood. And let's go over a few particulars of it, just for those who may not know. And I am not being leaning one way or another when it comes to facts. If you've been paying attention to my channels at all, you know that facts are just facts. I don't really care about anything else beyond facts. We live in a world where we must first look at the facts, have an understanding of those facts, and then we walk in wisdom. So if you've heard me talk about the trivium many times before, you know that's exactly what that is. Get the facts, get an understanding of the facts, and then let's just move in wisdom. And the wisdom part is what I hope that many of you will stick around for. Stick around for the wisdom at the end of this, because it's going to be different than what I would usually talk about unless you've really, really been following me. So let's look at some of the facts. Some of the facts are this. We have Ahmaud Aubery. And of course, as normal, when people investigate something, they look for every piece of information that they can get their hands on. So let's look at some of the information concerning Ahmaud first. Ahmaud was a young black man, growing up with his parents, had both parents in his life, had a large family unit around him. When he was in high school, it's alleged that he brought a gun to school, and people are, they're trying to besmirch him by talking about that, but it's alleged. It's not, there was no conviction. There's nothing that places him in jail or prison or anything of that nature. If you had brought a gun to school at the age of 19, and considering that that was on 6, 7 years ago, that there will be more concerning him. But it's alleged, but of course it's being reported that there's an alleged gun carrying into a school. He had an investigation of shoplifting when he was 18 years old, 17, 18 years old, alleged shoplifting. Now that actually has absolutely nothing to do with this situation right now. But one thing it does have something to do is that in this alleged shoplifting situation, the McMichaels were part of the investigation. So there is a familiarity with Ahmaud and the McMichaels because they investigated him 6, 7 years ago when he was allegedly part of a shoplifting issue. but didn't serve time, didn't go to jail, wasn't convicted of anything. So, what does that have to do with today? Nothing. The only thing it has, well, I shouldn't say nothing, but the only thing it has to do with is that the uh, investigators were familiar with him from 7 years ago, if they remember. They may not remember every case, but if they remember, there is that. What we know is that he was out jogging, that he jogged through this neighborhood plenty of times. He jogged through this neighborhood frequently. So he should have been recognized based on the fact that he jogged through this neighborhood quite frequently. We know that the McMichaels made the statement that there have been many different burglaries, a string of burglaries in that neighborhood. Yet, prior to this shooting, there hadn't been a burglary in this neighborhood for almost 2 months. And that particular burglary was someone taking a pistol out of the McMichaels vehicle. Now, here's the thing about that. As a card carrying person in Georgia who has a right to carry, and we're going to get into that. I have a right to carry, and One Life says that he's from Brunswick. I have a nephew from Brunswick too, but I have a right to carry a firearm in the state of Georgia. Everybody in the state of Georgia has a right to carry a rifle without a license, but I am licensed to carry. As a person who is licensed to carry, as the McMichaels should have been, and I would assume that they were, since they were former investigators. Always keep in mind they were former investigators, meaning that they were not currently working for the police department or the DA. That you do not leave an unsecured weapon in a vehicle. You don't. You don't. You don't. No, you don't. Sorry, you don't do that. So that's one. So somebody did take a pistol. You reported a pistol being taken out of his vehicle. So he's a little heightened because it happened to him directly. What we do know is that video surveillance have shown that Ahmaud did run up while running, went to a house under construction, looked in the garage, went behind the house, and then kept on his jogging. Now, if you look at the clothes that he's wearing, he's not wearing clothes that you would normally wear if you're going to rob a construction site. If you're going to rob a construction site, then usually those types of robberies are people who want to take construction material or take things like faucets and lighting and fixtures and things like that. As a real estate agent, then that's one thing that I know is that people who go and look at construction sites, if they're going there to rob, those are the kind of things they look for. Now, what I also know as a realtor is that people who go and look at construction homes under construction are usually going because they're dreaming of what they want later on in life, or what they want, or they're looking at what they're looking to purchase at that time frame. People do this all the time, but at best, that person is trespassing at best, which is not a felony at best. And if these people, the McMichaels being investigators, should have recognized the first thing, is this person dressed in the attire that a thug, a robber, a criminal would be dressed in if they were going robbing? No, he was not. He was dressed like somebody exercising. Other facts of the case. Ahmaud decided to keep running. He went down the street, continued to run. And this is where we get our video of the new style of lynching, where we got McMichaels 64 grabbed his son. Hey, let's go get him. I see him. He looks like that guy because, we all look alike. So they chase him down. Two white men carrying guns to an unarmed black man in South Georgia. Oh, he attacked us. We told him to stop. Now let's think about this. For a time frame of my life, I worked as an unarmed security guard. As an unarmed security guard that must be licensed in the state of Georgia, the maximum thing that you can do is observe and report. That's what you do, observe and report. Now, the McMichaels, because of their friendships in Brunswick, were able to get away with it a little bit more and they tried to explain it away, saying that, citizens arrest law. Citizens arrest law means that you have to be in the act of witnessing a crime or have knowledge of a crime happening. All they saw was him running down the street. That's it. Suspect. Just because you see somebody who may look like in Atlanta when you drive, sometimes you see a wanted sign on a post, up on a billboard. You might see that sometimes, especially when something's going on. Your job as a citizen is to observe and report. Unless you witness the crime, you have no rights to detain someone. Unless you have direct knowledge that the crime just happened, and then you have no right to detain someone. But we know that with their connections in Brunswick, the Brunswick court said, hey, you're a friend of ours. We know you. We're going to go ahead and let that slide. Until his dumb lawyer friend decided to release the video in hopes of clarifying the situation, clearing his friends, but it actually worked in reverse and backfired. And now we have media outbursts, media outrage. The other facts of the situation is that once that video came out, also a 911 call came out. And in the 911 call, you have people are focusing on just the one that was made by a different neighbor saying that, hey, there's a black man looking at a house. No, now he's running down the street. What they don't do, if you go to the BBC News and look up their reports, look up one that was about a week and a half ago. There is one where it states that they were asking them, was he committing a crime? And they said, well, and the McMichaels, this is McMichaels on their 911 call that, hey, he's been shot, the guy in the neighborhood. And they said, was he committed a crime? And they ignored that statement. And then later they said, well, he was a black man. He's a black guy running in our neighborhood. That one's not being publicized as much. I'm going to go find that one, and I'm going to put it on my Facebook page. And I'm going to take a screenshot and put it on my YouTube page. But they haven't been talking about that one. They haven't been talking about that one. It's a black man running in our neighborhood. And then because of public outrage, now the case has steam. Now President Trump got something to say. Now Governor Kemp got something to say. Now all these black organizations got something to say. Now, and everybody wants justice. So those are the facts. Let's get an understanding of those facts. Black man running down the street looks like the usual suspect. Two white men who used to be investigators. And by the way, somebody did post a thing where it's saying that the older McMichaels is part of the KKK, but that picture is kind of hard to tell because that could be almost any other white guy. And I don't want to be one to say, all white people look the same. So I'm not going to, go deep into that aspect. I'm not adding that to the facts because that's speculative. Until you see like a full face frontal. This was a side shot, profile shot, and it wasn't even that great. Can't necessarily say he was part of the KKK, but if he was, then there's a whole lot of cases that'll be reopened in Brunswick, Georgia. Every one that he has something to do with a black man. So, back to it. Those are the facts. That's what's going on right now. The facts as we have them. The question is, what does that mean? What does it mean? Now, to most black people, what that means is that here we go again. What that means is that we live in a police state that takes black people and put them at a lower class and makes it where we are more susceptible to criminal activity by police officers, non-police officers, white people. The facts are that we are looked upon as always robbing, killing, murdering, stealing, that sort of thing. That there's a natural fear that white people have of black people. That when we look at a situation such as the protesters who's been going into these different courthouses and Capitol buildings with guns and they're white, that we know that if it was Black Lives Matter going in there with guns, then of course the police will be more agitated. They'll probably be fighting. They'll probably be killing, that sort of thing going on. Because why? We live in America, and we live in a country that was built on racism. Okay, that's how we understand it as black people, and we protest, and we know that, and we believe that our power is in voting and protesting. That's where we believe our power is. Let's be honest about it for a minute, black people. Let's be honest, because you saw the title of this. It said "Black People Wake Up." All right, let's wake up and be honest. Our power, that we believe our power, is only in, and I'm gonna put 3 in there. It's only in voting. It's only in protesting, and it's only in praying. That's where we believe our power exists. That's it. We don't believe we have any other power beyond that. We really don't. Because if we did, we would actually, utilize it. People who have power, they use their power. Well, we see the McMichaels, they believe they have a power to go down and just arrest any black kid, any black man, and they used it and they did it. And for a while, they got away with it. Right? That's what we believe. People who have a power use their power. In this situation, we have to recognize we have a different kind of power. We have to recognize that we have something within us that we can utilize that's beyond the three. This is beyond the three. And I'm not negating the three. First, let me make sure y'all understand that. I'm not negating the three. I'm not negating the power of voting. I'm not negating the power of protesting. And I'm not negating the power of prayer / meditation for me. I'm not negating any of those things. They're useful in their own way and in their own right. The problem is, again, we are playing a game and we're playing it wrong. As people like to say, they're playing chess, we're playing checkers. I would have to say in that scenario, they're playing chess and we're just bystanders. We're bystanders. Point blank, period. We, as a Marine, people, you guys know, there's a saying that we have in the Marine Corps. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Everybody wants justice. Every black person wants justice. But nobody wants to die for it. Nobody wants to put themselves out on the line for it. Nobody wants... It was amazing. All the videos that I've seen of people running for Ahmaud. You know what made it a little bit better, a whole hell of a lot better? I'm running for Ahmaud with a piece on my side. I'm running for Ahmaud with my Smith & Wesson. I'm running for Ahmaud with my AR-15. I'm running for Ahmaud with my protective gear. I'm running with that. You see, that is the wisdom. The wisdom is that if you're going to fight this, if you are a person who feels like you want to be involved in the fight, because y'all know, my involvement in the fight is telling y'all, hey, let's get the heck out of this country. But if you're going to stay in this country, then play the right game. Play the right game. Yeah, I got 10 years that I'm going to be in this country. 10. That's it. I'm on. I'm gone. I'm out. Right? I have no desire to stay here. Right? Why? But if you're going to stay, if you are saying, this is my land, this is the land of my forefathers, my ancestors fought for this land, my ancestors slaved for this land, my ancestors had this land taken from them, whatever your grounds are for staying here, this is what I'm used to, this is where I was born. Get in the game. Get in the game. Here's the wisdom of it. You know, as a black man, if you're running down the street and you're accosted by two white men holding rifles, hell yes, you're going to fight. Ahmaud fought first, as well as he should have fought first. Because we know that white men coming up to a black man unarmed in some neighborhood, you're 70% chance of death. 70% chance. Most likely. Coming at you armed? Just regular old white dudes? While you're out running? Yeah. I'm fearful for my life at that moment, and I'm fighting you. And it is going to be a fight to the death. So I don't blame Ahmaud for attacking first. If he attacked first. We don't even really know. They claim he attacked first. Based on the video, you really can't tell who attacked first. But it doesn't matter. You attacked. Because here's the thing, the McMichaels are saying they feared for their lives. You came with the gun. You came with the shotgun. No, Ahmaud feared for his life. Two white men in pickup trucks in South Georgia with rifles feared for his life. He fought. He should have fought. I applaud the courage of the young man to fight. Instead of running, instead of lying down, to fight. But I ask you, where's your fight? Here's the fight. As a realtor, when I go out, every time we go out to look at a house, I don't care if it's the same house over and over again, I'm carrying a piece. There's absolutely no way I'm going any place without one. Plain and simple. That's just what it is. But you got to know the law. See, this is where we don't play the game correctly, right? You have to know the law in order to win the battle. And even though when you don't always, even when you know the law, depending upon who you dealing with, uh, you still may lose. Which is why you also always need to have your phone charged and on record. If you got a GoPro in your car recording all the time, however you do it, you have got to record. You see, the game that we're playing is that a black man's word is still not as valid as a white man's word. It's not, I'm not promoting racism or anything of the sort. This is just the facts. We know that a white man says something, a black man says something. The black man's word is not going to be taken as truth over a white man. We still live in that time frame. We still live in that mindset. So, black people, we have the ability to record every issue incidents. You need to have your phone on the ready. You need to be able to know how to hit your phone for that quick camera to come on. You have to record it because the burden of proof for a black person is heavier than the burden of proof for a white person. So you have to take extra precautions. Stop sitting up here thinking that this world is fair. It's not. Get over it. It's not fair. It's never going to be fair. And as long as we are from the oppressed group in the country that oppressed us, you have a harder hill to climb. So get over it. It's never going to be fair. You need to be ready to record at all times. You need to be carrying a weapon. If you really, here's the thing I don't think is clicking for black people. Society never changes softly. It never has. Society never will change softly. Society changes when it's punched in the face, when it's kicked in the nuts, when it's beat down, when something traumatic happens. That's the only time society changes. Our society right now will make a big change. Why? Because of this pandemic that's going on. All right? This pandemic of fear, that will change society a bit as far as how we conduct ourselves socially. It will change society. How we buy products and things that we do like that, it will change society. But it took a civil war to end slavery. Not people just voting it out and seeing that it's not good or economics not being great. It took a civil war in order for it to happen. In order for Europe to change, it took World War I and then World War II. Right. In order for Japan to change, it took American admirals showing up with a ship that could outgun anything they had because they had been in isolation for 263 years. And it took somebody showing up with a bigger gun to force Japan to change. And in 20 years, they changed their entire culture, their entire civilization. Because somebody showed up with a big gun and said, we're going to be back in a year with bigger guns. And you're going to open up your country to trade. And Japan said, God dang, we can't do nothing about this. And they had to change. Dr. King had to die. Malcolm had to die for there to be a change in America as far as the law was concerned in 1969. That had to change. It took Kennedy, well, I'm going to say Kennedy, Malcolm, and Martin had to die. There had to be so much public unrest. The Black Panther movement had to grow. And I'm going to say this, love and wisdom and temperament. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm going to say this in this way, and many of you may not believe me or accept it. It is not Dr. King. It was not Malcolm, and it was not Kennedy that changed and created the civil rights. Yes, they get the credit. What changed is that the Black Panthers out in California was growing. They were growing. There were chapters all over the country. And these were black men and women with guns. These were black men and women who knew the law. These were black men and women who took care of their own neighborhoods. These were black men and women who were for economics. And Dr. King, now Malcolm was already on board with that. Nation of Islam was already on board with that. But when Dr. King started moving on board with economics, and they thought that that might move him even closer ties with the Black Panthers movement, that's changed. That's what changed it. Fear of the black man with a gun. Fear of the black man being able to take care of their own neighborhoods. That changed. That created the Civil Rights Act, the Civil Rights Bill, and the Civil Rights Act passing through Congress and the Senate and the presidency. That changed that. Not the goodness of people's hearts. Hell no. No one is going to stop oppressing you sweetly. It's not going to happen. But when you show up to protest armed, yeah, there's going to be some agitation. There are going to be agitators. But you're going to have to take it. No war is won without some blood loss. It doesn't happen. No war is won through begging. No war is won through pleading. No war is won through saying, please, Mr. Oppressor, please let me have my freedom to be human, to live. Your Constitution promises life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Or is that the Declaration of Independence? It's one of them dang on documents promises that. The Constitution does say we the people, are created under our Creator, have inalienable rights. That we are created equal. It might have been written by flawed people at a flawed time, but for today, we the people means all the people, men and women, black and white, Asian and Spanish, the whole deal. We the people. But we the people are not fighting the same fight. Now, we have these two dudes, and this is for all police officers, former police officers. As a Marine, I took an oath to fight all enemies, foreign and domestic, right? You police officers, you took an oath as well. But you've grown up in a culture that says that black men are the enemy. You've grown up in a culture where you've been trained to believe that black people are criminals. Now, I honestly believe that 92% of all police officers are good and decent. They have had that training, and they go along with the blue code. They do have a mentality that is more aggressive towards black people, but I believe that 92% of police officers would not shoot a black man just because they're black. But it's that 8% or whatever that percentage is. It's that lower percent. That lower percent is the problem. That lower percent police officers is what's creating agitation from black people. Let me give you this from the stop and frisk situation of how police officers, you are creating the agitation. You are creating the issue of black men being more aggressive towards you, black women being more aggressive towards you. Stop and frisk in New York, a failed system. Why is stop and frisk a failed system in New York? It's failed because, and this is a psychosis that you have to understand as to why we have this whole problem across America. A 12-year-old black kid is walking down the street. Police just pulls up. He can stop him and frisk him at any point for no reason whatsoever, just because there's something that happened down the street. And just because, stop and frisk. I can stop and frisk you all the time. You're 12 years old. It happens this week. It happens next week. It happens again 2 weeks later. It keeps happening, keeps happening, keeps happening. After a while, everybody has their breaking point. Now, that 12-year-old, he's been tired of being stopped and frisked for the last 6 months. So the next time he sees a police officer pulls up to him, I don't feel like it today. So he runs. Oh, now the police give chase. You're resisting arrest. You're fleeing from police officer. You did not obey a command. Now I have something I can put against you, and I put you in jail. This kid goes to jail. He gets out. He can't. Now he's 13, 14 years old. He has a record now. Now every time they see him, they suspect that he did something because he has a record. So now they stop and frisk him even more. It's happening even more. He gets drawn in by the other criminals in the neighborhood. Now he's actually committing crimes. Then he go to prison. He gets a felony on him. He goes to prison. And now he gets out. He can't get a job or anything that's of value, of worth. So now I don't think he has this criminal activity going through. So now 40 years later, he's a lifetime criminal in and out of prison. All because you stopped and frisked him and he wasn't doing nothing but just going down the street, coming from playing ball, going down the street, leaving school, going from his mother's house to his aunt's house. That's all he was doing. But you created it because you had a mentality that already said that black people are criminals. So let me go up and pull up and grab every little black person. So police officers, you swore an oath. You swore an oath. Okay? You swore an oath. And in swearing that oath, you are the ones creating more black criminals than economics, than societal norms, than culture. you're creating more of them. So if you want to do something about it, black police officers who are hiding behind the blue code, then every time you see a black person, stop treating them that way. Don't treat them the exact same way you would treat a white person. Try that. Let's try that. How about treating everybody the same way? Or even better, treat them how you would want to be treated if you were not a police officer. Which is funny because there are many black police officers when they're in plain clothes get treated like regular black people. Now, black people though, back to you. Because I said I'm gonna make this short. We're already at 30 minutes, so I'm about to be done. I'm gonna say this one more time. Y'all know that my plan for me and my family is that after 10 years, I'm leaving this country. I have no desire to stay here. I have no desire to put up with it. I'm a grown ass man. I plan to be treated like a grown man. All right, plain and simple. Right, and I'm not going to have to. I don't want to spend my 60s and 70s having to fight and walking around wondering, is this the day that a police officer acts a fool? Is this the day some white person thinks that they have the right to be able to accost me? This is not going to happen. I don't want to live in a country where the only way I can truly get some justice is if I make enough money to live in certain neighborhoods or make enough money to be able to pay for certain lawyers. And that's only if I don't get killed. I don't get murdered. So do I want to deal with that? No, I don't. So 10 years, I'm out. Now, for those who want to stay, and if I was of the mindset to stay, black people, if you want to make a change, go get licensed to carry a weapon. If your state allows concealed weapons, carry a weapon. But don't even conceal it. Never conceal it. You black. Don't conceal the god doggone thing. Because as a black person, you concealing it, you'll get shot. So do not conceal your weapons. Go to protest carrying your weapons and your card. Ensure that everything is proper. Ensure you know your rights. And most importantly, because it's all right for you to protest, vote, pray, but do all that carrying a weapon and do all that being recorded. You got to record it. Until the mindset of America changes, you have to record every time you're out there protesting with a weapon. You need to record it. You have to record it. And you have to be above reproach. Okay? You have to be above reproach. And when Thug Nation want to come join you, you cannot allow Thug Nation to join you. Because as soon as Thug Nation joins you, look, Thug Nation is ignorant. All right, they're going to come out, they think ignorantly, and they're going to act ignorantly. They are not going to come out understanding how to play this game. They want to come out as if they just in a free-for-all war and they actually got a chance to win just in a straight-up battle. They don't. We have to take guerrilla tactics in this, right? Guerrilla tactics. We can't fight in a standard army style. This doesn't work, right? You think, look, as a Marine, there were situations where we cannot just roll up onto a beach and just fight. No, there must be action taken behind the curtain. We have to. Sometimes that's the way you win the battle. That's the way you win the war, is to take different tactics than your enemy expects. Your enemy right now expects you to protest, vote, and pray. They don't expect you to pick up a rifle because they got you scared. And that's one thing. Black people, stop posting all these memes and things talking about how, if it was Black Lives Matter carrying a gun, then they shoot us for that one. All you're doing is scaring black people away from being able to do it. You're creating a mental block, a cultural mindset that says that if black people do it that way, then we are going to be killed and it's not going to work. But here's the problem. That's the only way it's going to work. I don't usually say onlys and things like that, but that's the only way. It's the only way. You have to show up to play chess with your own pieces, okay? Not standing on the side, not showing up with some checkered pieces. You have to show up and say, I see that you have a board, but I'm not playing on your board. I have my own board with my own pieces, and I'm playing with my board and my pieces. And these are my boards and these are my pieces. You got to show up. You got to be armed. You have to know the law of being armed, and then you have to record it. Anytime I've had a police officer pull up to me, I turn the camera on, and I set it where I ain't got to touch it. Don't touch it. Right there. Hey, it's being recorded. Hey, officer, I'm recording this for my own safety. Not I'm recording you, man, because I don't trust y'all and blah, 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 blah. No. Good afternoon, officer. Just to let you know, I'm recording this for my safety. You probably are a good cop, but I'm just making sure because I don't know that one cop that's a bad cop. I can't tell just by you walking up if you're that cop, but I'm recording it for my own safety. Right? Simple. I have yet to have a problem with a police officer, but that's what I do. I record it. Now, haven't had to record anything for a number of years because I haven't even had a traffic violation well, let me rephrase that. I haven't had a traffic violation in a year. But I haven't had any issues because I record it and I explain to the officer why I'm recording it for my own safety. And I tell him, you're probably one of the good cops, but I don't know that. But the thing is, people, on this Mother's Day, I feel bad for Aubery's mother, for Ahmaud's mother. This will be her first Mother's Day where her son is gone. 25 years old, snuffed out, murdered, lynched. The only reason she's getting any modicum of justice is because it hit national news. And that's the thing, black people. We're in a situation where the only way we can get justice is if it hits national news right now. But we have social media. Social media is the enemy of those who like to hide and keep their things in secret. You have the ability to record and post, to record and post, and record and post, record and post. And this is what you have to do. If you want to live in this country successfully, you have to play a different game than the one that white people play. You can't play their game. Asians don't play their game. Spanish don't play their game. Hell, Jewish people don't play that game, and they can fit in. They can pass as just regular white people. And I'm talking about the European Jews. For a Jewish person from Israel came over, yeah, they look very different. The ones who've been there, who family really been there, not the ones who were European and went or whatever. Anyway, you have to play a different game. Stop playing the game. We're at the bottom. Just to be honest, black people are at the bottom. And if you want to come up from the bottom, we have to play a different game. We can't play the same one they've been playing. Once we realize that and actually put it into action, that's the thing about wisdom, is putting things into action. Once it's put into action, then it will take 40 years 40 years. It will take a generation in order for it to change. But that's the thing, it can happen in a generation. It can literally happen in a generation. But we just have to stand strong and do it and teach our children to do it. And the best way to teach our children to do anything is for them to watch us do it. So if you see me out exercising, I will be packing. And I will have my phone for recording. If you see me out and about, period, I'm packing. And I will have my phone for recording. So you need to do that. And you got to know the law. So y'all have a great day. Enjoy the time that if your mother is still with you in this plane of existence, then enjoy her. Enjoy the fact of what she gave to you. If you have that kind of relationship with your mom. If you don't, if you can mend it, mend it. You don't know how much time you have. Nobody on their deathbed ever said, I wish I had more time to go to work. Most people say they wish they had more time to spend with their family, their loved ones, things of that nature. So go spend that time. Go enjoy that time. I'll be producing a video probably tomorrow or later in the week about we're doing a 14-day detox because, one, we need to be healthy. We need to be healthy. You're dying with the foods that you're eating was all in your system. So we're going to do a 14-day detox and cleansing and revitalization. We're doing that for 14 days. I'm going to put all that information out. So we got to get healthy and we got to make more money. Not for the sake of having money, but money is power. And as black people, you need more power. We don't have any. Well, we ain't going to say we don't have any. We have very little. So we need to become more powerful. All right. So I look forward to that, guys. Let's have a great day. Let's enjoy our mothers. To my mom, happy Mother's Day. You work 2.5 jobs, take care of three kids, and I appreciate everything you've ever done. You are awesome. You are awesome. Through all your faults, your greatness rises above all those things. To all the mothers that I've had in my life, my grandmothers, my aunts, my mother-in-law, all those people, Y'all were amazing. Y'all were great. The ones I had that were short, and different military wives who were very instrumental when I was coming up as a young Marine. I appreciate all you guys. Mama Noyes, everybody. Appreciate you guys so very, 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 very much. And I look forward to other mother figures that I will have in my life over the years. It's just people just popping in my head right now, like who have passed on that made impacts, like Mother Bryant and people like that. But y'all have a great day. Go and enjoy your mothers. And Father's Day's coming. Don't forget Father's Day. But enjoy the mothers who've had it. And for my wife, you know, you are a great mother. I love the fact of how you mother, and the fact that now my children, who even though they are adults, you need your mom always. And so then now, as I've always promised my kids, I would never bring anybody in your life that I didn't think would have a positive impact on your life. So I thank my wife for being there and being who she is, because I know she will positively impact my children and my life as well. So, you know, thank you, Donna. Love you, baby. Um, so everybody have a great day. Enjoy yourself. Good vibrations, good journey. And remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is not negotiable.